Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video on the channel. So in this video, we're basically going to be talking about the M4 Mac Mini. It has been my workhorse for the past 8 months or so, 8-9 months since the M4 Mac Mini came out, and essentially I've been running this YouTube channel with the M4 Mac Mini. So I wanted to talk about it and give you a buyer's guide from my recommendations, which configuration you should buy, because I know it can be confusing deciding which M4 Mac Mini, if you are planning to get one, how you should configure it, how much storage do you need, how much unified memory do you need. These are all questions which you should ask yourself before purchasing one, because essentially it's an investment, and you're going to be probably having this device for a good few years, so you want to obviously make the right decision. And in this video I want to help you make that decision, and we're going to be looking at 3 different options at 3 different price points, and for maybe 3 different needs. Essentially, we don't know when the M5 Mac Mini is going to come out, or even if it's going to come out, because we didn't get an M3 Mac Mini. We did skip a generation there, so there may be a skipping of a generation here as well. So it's even if we do get M5 Mac Minis, it's looking like we're going to get them probably next year, according to Mac rumors. So it is definitely worth thinking about buying an M4 Mac Mini if you're and not holding off for an M5 Mac Mini. So guys, without further ado, let's actually get into the first choice, the first configuration. So guys, the first option I want to give you guys, the first configuration which I recommend, is the bare bones base model. It's the model which has 16 gigabytes of unified memory and 256 gigabytes of SSD. It's the model you can pick up for $599 directly from Apple, and you can pick it up as low as, I believe it's $539 on Amazon at the moment. So you can pick it up on really good deals from a variety of different places. And if you are a content creator, which I'm classed as now because I have this YouTube channel, but if you have a YouTube channel, or if you make Instagram Reels or TikTok Reels, this is actually a really good option to go for, because you're not actually spending too much money. If your videos are pretty simple, which as you can see my videos are pretty simple, this is a really good option, because obviously you're getting the M4 chip, which is incredibly powerful. And you can do a lot with the M4 chip. You can run DaVinci Resolve, you can run Final Cut Pro really nicely on these M4 Mac Minis. But you are, just keep in mind, you are going to have to probably use an external SSD, because 256 gigabytes of storage isn't really enough. So if you're comfortable using an external SSD, you can pick one up for about $160 from Amazon, probably a 2 terabyte Samsung T7 Shield. You can pick one up for about that price on Amazon. So that's what I'd recommend. Instead of paying $200 to Apple for only 256 gigabytes of storage, I'd actually recommend picking up an external SSD. I just think it makes more sense. And yeah, definitely this is a really good choice. 16 gigabytes of unified memory is more than enough in my opinion. It's more than enough for me, and if it is, then most likely it's more than enough for most people out there. But if you are doing some more crazy things with your Mac Mini, if you're doing some more high level things, I have a couple of options more for you. But the first option is the base model. It's the model which you can pick up for a really good value for money, $599 or even cheaper on Amazon. So that's the first option. Now let's get into the second one. So guys, the second recommendation which I want to give to you guys is the kind of like I call the sweet spot. It is the model which has 512 gigabytes of SSD and 16 gigabytes of unified memory. And I think if you're a content creator, this is probably the best option to go for, and you're getting the best bang for buck here as well. You're actually picking up a really good configuration here, which is going to give you a bit more wiggle room when it comes to the storage, because at the base model, 256 gigabytes of storage, that's just not enough. And you really have to keep on top of your file storage system. You have to constantly, make sure you're not taking up all of the space on your internal SSD. You've got to keep on top of things. You've got to move things off the internal to the external SSD fairly regularly, but you don't have to do that with this model. If you buy the model which has a 512 SSD, then you don't actually have to move your files off the internal SSD as often. which just gives you a bit less of a headache, really, and just reduces the hassle of moving your files back and forth. In my opinion, I think this is, like I mentioned, it is the sweet spot, and I think if you pay the extra $200, you can actually pick this up on sale. I'll put it on the screen, but you can actually pick this up for a really good price on Amazon as well. So you can pick it up on sale, and yeah, like I mentioned, it is a really good option if you're a content creator, if you're a general user of a computer even, and you just, you want to keep this device for a decent amount of time. I think this is a great option, and it's the sweet spot. If you want to just give yourself a bit less stress, a bit less of a headache, you want that peace of mind of having a bit more internal storage, then it is in the long term. I think it's worth purchasing the 512 gigabyte version. And if I had to do it over again, if I had to purchase this Mac Mini again, I'd probably go for this version as well, just to give myself a bit more wiggle room when it comes to actually storing files on the internal storage. I think that's a really good sweet spot. 512 gigabytes of SSD and 16 gigabytes of unified memory. It's a really, really good choice at a really decent price as well. So that's the second choice. Let's get into the third and final choice. So guys, the third and final choice, the third configuration which I recommend for the M4 Mac Mini is actually the M4 Pro Mac Mini. So if you are a power user and if you know you're a pro user, then this is probably the one to go for. I don't think most of you need to go for this version. I don't need to go for it myself. I think the M4, the base model, the base chip, is powerful enough for most of us. But if you know that, if you're in that elite group of people who actually need that M4 Pro chip, then I'd recommend going for the M4 Pro Mac Mini. You actually get obviously the M4 Pro chip, which is more powerful. You're getting more CPU cores, more GPU cores. So obviously you're getting more power, but also you're getting more RAM as well. You're getting more unified memory as standard, more internal storage as standard as well. You're getting a 512 gigabyte SSD, and you're getting 24 gigabytes unified memory as standard in the M4 Pro Mac Mini. So you are getting some nice add-ons, so it might be worth it for you. So the M4 Pro Mac Mini is a great choice. So for example, if you're using Blender, if you're running Xcode and you're using the GPU, if you're running DaVinci Resolve, if you're running other things like that, then I think it is worth it for you guys. And I think it is a great choice if you're a power user, if you know you're going to be using the CPU, the GPU of the system. Then the M4 Pro Mac Mini, obviously you are paying that premium price, you are paying more money for it. You can pick it up on a pretty good deal on Amazon. There's not a whole lot of it, but you can pick it up with a slight discount on Amazon, so it might be worth it for you. But I think for the majority of people, you can probably I think the M4 base chip is good enough with 256 gigabytes of storage or 512 SSD. I think that's probably for most people, that's absolutely fine. But if you are a pro user, then the M4 Pro Mac Mini is a great choice as well. So guys, those were the three configurations which I recommend for the M4 Mac Mini. But let me know, how would you configure your Mac Mini? How would you configure it in terms of the storage and the unified memory? I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts as well. So leave those down in the comment section below. The M4 Mac Mini, it's a great device. Honestly, like I mentioned, it has run this channel for the past 8-9 months, and it has been a great device. It is a device I would recommend to a lot of you guys out there, even if you're just a general computer user. If you use it for web browsing, that's what I've used it for. I've used it to make these videos, but also as a web browsing machine. I've used it for other things like checking my emails, checking my work schedule, things like that. Just general computer uses, and I think it's a great device for that. It's super snappy thanks to the M4 chip, and the M4 chip is no slouch at all. It's very powerful, very efficient as well, and we do get a fan in the M4 Mac Mini. So it's a great device. It's tiny. It's absolutely a lovely device, and I definitely recommend it. It's good value for money as well. And so I hope this video helped you in picking a Mac Mini configuration. If you like this video, drop it a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.